Welcome to the Wrestling Still Cool podcast. My name's Cam. That's Mark.
Appreciate y'all joining in.
All right, before we get started, you can follow us on Twitter at WrestlingSCool. Go ahead and take it over for the rest.
For Instagram, it's at Wrestling Still Cool. Facebook is Wrestling Still Cool. TikTok is at Wrestling Still Cool 90. You can get us on email as well at WrestlingStillCool@gmail.com.
For this episode, we recorded this previously, but the audio got corrupted, so we had to run through and do this recording once more. This is in regards to the SuperBrawl from 1998. It was the 8th version of it. This was for the WCW pay-per-view that took place on February 22nd, 1998, from the Cow Palace in San Francisco. This pay-per-view in itself had a lot of things that kind of resonated and caused reverberations, if you will, between the worlds of WCW and NWO.
Yeah. A lot of it's a very interesting pay-per-view. As SuperBrawl has always been, especially in its earlier times, it was always an interesting one and really good ones. It was always interesting how much had a lot of, the best word is volume, how much of impact it had, especially being the 1 month after its Starrcade pay-per-view. Actually, as time went on, there's Starrcade moved a month after that, being in December then. So it was a pretty cool show for this one too.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. So to get into what matches took place, we initially had a returning Rick Martel against Booker T for the World Television Championship. That's one of the titles that I kind of wish I almost called it WWF, WWE would bring back. Especially now that they're on TV as much as they are between Fox and USA.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think with that you can even have a floating title between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, where the champion could defend it on any of those shows.
That'd be interesting to have too, but obviously it goes against. Well, I say it goes against your brand supremacy, your brand separation, but that they've already kind of broken that rule a long time ago.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they even did with Edge right now, where he basically said he told all three champions at one point that he's going to challenge them between Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, and Roman Reigns.
Well, technicality, I mean, if we really look at it, if I can spit it out, look at it, he won the Royal Rumble, so yes, it's 3 options, so it kind of gives him a free card to go and meet up with the champions. I mean, he gets his choice, so I can give him a pass on that one, but it's I know they're trying obviously for the last several years. We'll have this wrestler go on SmackDown even though they're on Raw. We need ratings. I'm like, but you're kind of going against your rules, your own rules. So
right.
It was always interesting for that. But anyways,
Yeah. But again, this was a back and forth match between Booker T and Rick Martel. Rick Martel originally was supposed to win this one, but he got injured. I think it was a torn knee ligament. In his match against Booker T, and they had to call the match the rest of the way because he couldn't perform what his finisher was supposed to be. They improvised the rest of the match. Booker T got the win, I believe, with a bookend. Or it could have been the axe kick, but
I believe it was the axe kick. But it's been.
I know one of the matches he pulled out the bookend. I don't remember if he got the win with it though. Either way, he pinned him, won the match, and became the television championship.
He became the television champion.
Yeah, champion. Thank you for correcting me. Thank you for correcting me on that one. So I don't have my notes on this one. I'm kind of playing off of memory. I believe I gave this one a 5.5 out of 10.
Well, I kind of did both of them with the second match with Saturn.
Mm-hmm.
I did a combination more or less.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of the whole thing I gave more or less. Well, Booker T versus Rick Martel gave it 6.5, and Booker T versus Saturn gave it 5.7. But
That sounds right because we were flip flopped on it.
Yeah. I thought the Saturn match was okay. Booker T versus Saturn, but Martel, I think I give him an extra 5 points, honestly, for him bearing through the injury. But it also deserved that rating anyways. It's a really good match.
Right. So going into this, because we're gonna have to pair this up now because you mentioned the Saturn match. So Saturn was supposed to face Rick Martel and lose to Rick Martel. This was supposed to be the upward trajectory for Rick Martel once coming back from injury. After winning, Booker T is basically on the ground, and Saturn just runs up and starts pounding him. I mean, you could tell in Booker T's reaction, I don't think he was ready for that. Because his reaction was like, "What the hell?" Like, but at one point during the beatdown, Saturn kind of gets close to the head, and I think he kind of told him like, "Look, let's do this and get him out of the ring."
That or Booker T's one hell of a seller. Well, she is, but I mean, it's kind of makes you wonder.
He is a seller, but that legit looked like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, it was just one of those moments like, okay, which way was it supposed to go? But
yeah.
But Booker T walked out. Honestly, it's unfortunate, obviously, Rick Martel got injured, which is obviously part of the whole business. But I think it should have been gone to Booker T, anyways, especially him winning back-to-back matches. It really helped him elevate his career and his character even further, right, to eventually, get to the top spot a few years down the road. I think it was a better call that he would have won, I said, without the unfortunate injury. But he won the title and he retained the title. So can you dig that, sucker?
Right. And with this match, they completely call this in the ring as a whole.
Oh yeah.
Booker T ended up winning, as he kind of highlighted there. And this is where I said with flip flop. This one I gave a 6.5 because the whole match was called in the ring. Yeah, him and Mark and I were both flip flopped on this one, and I do recall that from my notes. Like I said, when this was recorded, I tossed the notes out and then found out the file was corrupted. So that was on me. I'm learning my lesson on that.
Well, but I keep my notes inside my phone. That's why I didn't.
Yeah, well, I do paper. I'm weird about it.
Oh, that's fine. To be honest with you, lost a train of thought. You go ahead.
But this kind of showed Booker T being able to be a ring general, call 2 matches inside the ring, and definitely showed him to be a main event star.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I know a lot of people our listeners are thinking a lot of people call their matches in the ring, which a lot of people who do that, as well as the old school ones. I mean, a lot of them do, and not all, but a lot. But it's especially when you had 2 young guys, going in there and doing that, it showed a lot. Obviously they were still. I mean, they were, fairly experienced. I think Booker T might have a little more experience, but especially when you're young and getting more experience, especially that time frame. So it said a lot that they were. Booker T, especially, and his career evolved to a whole new level eventually. But it said a lot just to do that. So I say, just like yourself, I give props.
Exactly. The next match ended up being Disco Inferno against La Parka. With this, La Parka,
the chairman.
They're both at this time part of the cruiserweight division, which was definitely started by Eric Bischoff to bring eyes to his product a little bit differently. I don't hate. I don't know about all that. With La Parka, I didn't hate the character. I thought the outfit looked nice, the whole skeleton thing, and those little dance and things like that. But there was nothing there for me for La Parka. With Disco Inferno, he seemed to be a very good heel worker. I enjoyed his stuff with Billy Kidman, the one he pulled off at Starrcade, using a little bit more of the heelish taunting. And I actually think this was kind of early in Disco Inferno's career because he lost the name on the pants early on in his career.
So early on, at least in WCW career, and I'm obviously still was a young guy back then too. So unfortunately, it's to where I didn't really pay any attention to disco until I got going a little more into WCW. It wasn't right off the bat that I paid attention to him too much, I should say. La Parca, one thing, as a kid, I thought he was entertaining as far as the dancing and, of course, being called chairman. He always had the steel chair. Other than that, I wasn't heavily influenced or really all invested except for that entertainment side, which is cool. But
yeah,
other than that, wasn't really much big into La Parca. But, it was always fun to see the entertaining side of him.
Right. And it was one of those where, like, he seemed to have definitely a gimmick, but how far that gimmick went was a question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Either case, so this one I didn't rate very high. What about you?
Honestly, I think the last time I sang this scenario, I didn't write down a rating, unfortunately.
I think mine was 4 out of 10 because I think I expected more from Disco Inferno.
I'll just go with your ratings. That's pretty much what I was going to give it generously. So I'll just go with 4 then.
Yeah, it wasn't much there.
Yeah.
We get a squash match next between Goldberg and Brad Armstrong. Brad Armstrong is part of the family. That includes ref Scott Armstrong, who annoys me with his counting method, and the Road Dogg, Jesse James.
Rowdy.
They all come from the same family. I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but Brad Armstrong actually portrayed a character called Buzzkill in the later years of WCW, which was kind of ripping on the Road Dogg Jesse James character. Very similar hairstyle, similar moves in the ring, whatnot. It's showing the genius of Vince Russo. I caught you off guard with that, I could tell.
we sometimes reference some. Anyway, go ahead. I think.
But this is a Goldberg squash match, and I'm not a big fan of squash matches. Never have, never will be. But there was a different thing about Goldberg's squash matches. With Goldberg, he just had this ability to kind of sink you in and make you believe he came in there to destroy everybody.
Absolutely. I mean, you're the same. I'm not big on squash matches and never did. Just as a waste to me. But Goldberg pulled it off so good, and where it never bothered me to watch the squash matches. And
his were believable. He kind of had this. I don't want to say arrogance because arrogance is not the right word. He just had this demeanor about him. He was going to come in there, destroy, leave.
Very confident, good charisma. Well, his one was to have charisma, I should say. He just had a different style that you didn't see before. And of course, I've never been a squash match before Goldberg, but he was pulled off. And I can't think of the top of my head if you can think of anybody who's done better than him since then. So
not better, no. The only one I say that comes
or just as good, maybe that's the way.
Good. I would probably give it close to Brock Lesnar. He's next one. I would say is very believable.
He's believable. I think what makes it better than Brock Lesnar is that, for one, Goldberg came in at the right time, right place. And
agreed. I'm not saying Brock Lesnar is better than Goldberg in squash matches.
It was to where not. Yeah, I'm not saying you are. I'm just. And it was right time, right place, right era, just right everything, right storyline, right gimmick, everything. And Lesnar's not Goldberg. I'm not saying you said that. I'm just saying Lesnar had a different persona, a different type of style, different just